Saturn return. Saturn return is a very important topic, and Saturn return is actually what got me truly involved in studying Vedic astrology, because this 2.5-year period can be extremely transformational irrespective of where Saturn's placed in your chart, because this period is sort of the period of the activation of the true energy of Saturn in your chart, true expression of Saturn in your life, true expression of Saturn in this mortal birth of your soul's existence. And I know this sounds like, wow, it's like too heavy. Is it really that deep? Is it really that intense? Is it really that transformational? It truly is. It can definitely vary from person to person. But Saturn return, it happens for the first time when you are around about 28 years of age. Okay? And anybody that you know who's successful in life, not as successful in life, they're going to tell you that the period of their life between 28 to 30 was the most transformational period of their life in terms of them turning into an adult, turning into a grown-up, understanding their responsibility in the world, realizing their purpose in the world, realizing the truth of the challenges in their life. So what exactly is Saturn return? Well, Saturn return is that period when Saturn, via transit, is transiting over your natal Saturn. So go to your chart, look at where Saturn's placed, which nakshatra Saturn's placed in your chart. Okay? And look at Saturn's transiting through the sky. When Saturn is transiting through the same sign that your natal Saturn is placed, you are undergoing Saturn return. And this is a period of your life where your soul will truly awaken to the challenge that it has volunteered for in this lifetime. Because in the same way that Rahu is your purpose or what you're here to do, what you're here to accomplish, Ketu is the plethora of experience that your soul has amassed from previous lifetimes. Saturn is the area of challenge that your soul has gracefully accepted, that has come as part of the package of being born in this mortal form. You know, it's the dues that you need to pay. You know how they say success is not bought, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. So that rent which is due every day, that is Saturn. And so this period is where you are going to feel the maximum intensity of Saturn placement in your chart for both good and bad. The good in the sense that you're going to awaken to the true strength of being able to actually face, deal with, and master the area of your life as indicated by Saturn placed in your chart. Just look at your chart wherever Saturn's placed. And as I spoke about in another video as well, the best way to look at which house a planet is placed in is if you use the equal house system, please use the Chalit chart. Otherwise, just use the Placidus house system. It will give you a more accurate assessment of where a planet is placed in your Vedic astrological birth chart. Okay, coming back. So this period is actually going to awaken you to the strength, the capability that you have of taking the challenges head on wherever Saturn's placed in your chart. For example, let's say Saturn's placed in the first house. Could have led to slow growth. You may have a frail physique, or you just may have grown up with so many responsibilities. You may struggle with some health issues, body image issues, etc., etc. and then Saturn return happens, and you have so much responsibility. You need to take care of your health so much. The challenges in front of you to lead are so intense that you truly awaken to the potential that you had within you. Like you thought this was the game. You thought this was the level that maintaining was difficult. Well, Saturn will awaken you to the reality that this is the level that is required. And not this, but this is what your capability is. He will push you and push you to show you how much you are strong in that area of your life where you feel lack. Because Saturn, wherever he's in your chart, no matter how great your life is, no matter, even if your dad's a billionaire, you will feel some sort of a lack, some sort of a challenge in that area. And a lot of people comment here a lot of things. I block them when they're rude. That rich people don't really have problems. These problems are not faced by people whose the parents are rich, who have a lot of money, whose lives are great. These problems are faced only by people who aren't doing much in life, who don't have much. That's not true at all. Even if you're born in a rich family, that in itself is a different kind of challenge. Sure, you have money, but constantly, I know that I have a few rich friends, I have a few rich clients, along the same lines. The pressure of living up to the expectation from your family, extended family, from the people who know your family. If you're inheriting a company, then the board. Sure, you may just get an office as a result of inheriting your place in that organization or whatever, community, etc. But there's a lot of pressure even then for you to perform, even then for you to do what you need to do. So everybody has challenges in this world. Watch that movie, The King's Speech. It'll give you a better idea of the challenges that people can have, that you will never ever be able to truly, anticipate given your position looking from the outside. So anyways, Saturn return is that period where Saturn is going to give you so many of those challenges to deal with that you going to invariably awaken to, oh my God, I have so much more capability than I had imagined, than I had anticipated. And at the same time, these problems are going to break apart a lot of paradigms that you had set in your mind with respect to these themes of lack and abundance, fear and failure, or fear and bravery, failure and success. These polarities, these fears that we constantly try to define a life around not having to face. Saturn return challenges those constructs. It challenges your perception of those constructs. Let's say you're undergoing Saturn return in the 11th house. Maybe the way that you thought that you're going to make money, the way that you thought that you're going to serve society, and the way that you actually need to be going about it is very different. Maybe you joined the merchant navy and you thought, man, that's a great option. Let me just do that in life. Pays well, it's awesome. But then you actually join the merchant navy and you're like, damn, I'm out at sea for 8 months at a time. I don't want this. I don't want this life. And then you realize, okay, what else can I do if not this? And then suddenly, you come back home, let's say back from sailing, and you're talking to one of your childhood friends and you discuss the idea for an app, and you just start trying to work on it, and you end up creating something and you completely change the way that you're making money. Or you're like, okay, you know what, I'll just continue to make money through sailing as long as I have to, but ultimately this is a source of income that I want to develop. And then you multiply that even further as well, thinking that, man, if I can do this and I can do this on the side, then I can do this and I can do something else on the side as well. So obviously Saturn return happening in houses that Saturn favors, that Saturn's energy favors, is going to be better. You know, like the 10th house, the 11th house could usually be better. Okay. Even in the 7th house, I'm going to say, because 7th house corresponds to the natural sign of Libra. It's the naturally exalted position of Saturn. It's where Saturn gets his most digbal, directional strength. Even that's great. But don't even for a second think that Saturn return happening in the houses where malefic planets, especially Saturn, is considered best, such as the 6th, 8th or 12th house, is going to be better. No, if anything, it's going to be more challenging for you than others. Because the tricks that you need to learn mastering this energy and being so good at it, for example, Saturn return happening in the 6th house, is going to make you a tough cookie. It's going to make you a, person with an iron will. Ability to take up challenges and difficulties. But the challenges, difficulties that you have to go through in that process that is going to build you into that person is going to be very tough. I don't want to scare anybody, but it's in my duty to inform you, since we're talking about, what Saturn return actually is. Saturn return may not necessarily end well for everybody. Because some people, Saturn can be placed in such a way in their chart that the questions that are being asked of them are such that they are just not prepared to answer. There's just been so little progress up till that point when Saturn return is happening that these individuals might not know at all how to handle that energy, how to deal with that energy, how to channel that energy. In the same way, Saturn return in the 8th house can indicate a huge transformation. Now, this huge transformation, depending on the nakshatra placement, the relative placement of this Saturn in this nakshatra from your moon, the Ashtakvarga points of that house, the aspects of that house, where the lord of that house is sitting, where everything else, there's a lot to be looked at, can indicate that this huge transformation could be physical transformation as a result of some trauma, some injury, some sports accident, something of that sort. Maybe such an experience. Maybe you're a biker. You love riding across the country, and you have an accident, or you just have an experience during this period that changes you as an individual. That changes your life path. That changes how you look at what is important to you. Maybe you stop riding after that. You start completely working for road safety. You just seriously let go of that aspect of your personality because you're so shocked of whatever happens, one way or another. I don't want to get into a lot of graphic details and give you a lot of ideas. I don't want to scare you, but it's my job to tell you that, look, Saturn returns, that this period between the age of 28 and 30 is not really a very easy time period. Because there are a couple of other things also that are happening in this time period. Your Mars is also maturing because Mars matures at 28. You're also undergoing reverse nodal transit. That means your Rahu is transiting over your Ketu is transiting over your Rahu. So this time period of your life, everybody's life, between the age of 28 and 30 is a difficult one. Saturn return is actually 50% of the influence. The other 50% is Mars maturation and reverse nodal transit. What's nodal transit? I've made a video on that as well. You can check that out. But I'm going to be talking about Saturn return through the houses in this series. Because this is one video that really needs to be out there for people who would be grasping at whatever information they can lay their hands on to make some sense of their destiny, their life purpose, their karma in this lifetime. Because Saturn return will completely flip the narrative of your life. And you will have to accept, gel with, and become consistent with this new narrative if you want to succeed. Otherwise, Saturn can be quite brutal. Sometimes the toughest warriors don't last that long. Saturn wants to make everybody a tough warrior. Sometimes there are casualties in that process. So, maybe I got a tad too dramatic towards the end. But to be honest, that's the general gist of Saturn's energy. Saturn's here to tell you that, look, you want this physical body, you want this physical form on this planet to carry out your karma. It comes with a few riders. And I'll use an example that I often use in my one-on-one coaching sessions. Imagine you're a paratrooper, okay, diving into enemy territory. Okay? And so you have all of the gear, including an emergency sidearm. You have learned paratrooping for a long, long time. You're an expert. You have your teammates with you. But unfortunately, as you are diving from the plane, strong gusts of wind throw you off course and you end up getting stuck in a tree. And that tree is so high that your parachute's caught up in it and you're just hanging from it. And if you want to escape, you'll have to cut your parachute cords and try to escape. But even if you do that, you're going to fall, let's say, a considerable distance and break a leg or, break an arm or something. That is what Saturn is, with reference to the experience of manifesting in this lifetime in a physical form to carry out the experiences and actions that will help the soul evolve. That is what Saturn is. Saturn is that unavoidable difficulty that is going to be there in one area of your life as a result of being here on this planet. And this is where, I'm not being dramatic, this is where it's actually inspiring, because this is the gist of it. Maybe you were assigned the mountain so that you could share to the world how it can be moved. And Saturn return will only bring this dynamic to life. So look, this is where you have a challenge, but you've also been gifted with ability. Wherever Saturn is placed in your chart is the place where you can actually be great. You have the potential for greatness irrespective of what the strength of your Saturn is, wherever Saturn is placed in your chart. Because Saturn is one of the most logical, the most reasonable. There's a very simple cause and effect relationship associated with Saturn's energy. He's a very logical, reasonable planet. A very logical, reasonable teacher. If you work hard, Saturn will work harder to reward you with what you deserve. Okay, so we're going to dive deeper and deeper into Saturn return with each video. This is going to be a 12-part series. I hope this much at this moment suffices and provides you with enough information to get started on this topic. I would like it if you could expand in the comment section below. Okay, and keep it civil, keep it light. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here, and push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. If you want a personal session with me, you can do so by checking out the link given here in the description box. It's going to take you to my website. You're going to have to fill up a form. Once I get that form, we're going to take it further from there. Thank you so much. Take care. Hari Om.